So here you go, guys, on YouTube. Here's a video of Chris, who's come to see me for a golf lesson today after watching YouTube videos. Come all the way from Carlisle, so 106 mile trip, which I'm very honoured about, so thanks very much for that, Chris. But I want to show you guys today what we've been working on in Chris's golf swing. He's had a fantastic year, actually. He's come down from quite a high handicap of 20. He's only been playing a couple of years, and he's now actually come down to 10. He was due to drop, so he's come to see me now to try and get to the next level in his golf improvement, try and get him down to category 1 for next year. But what we've noticed in his swing, lots of very good points in the actual golf swing, but the main feature that was causing a lot of inconsistent strikes was the fact that when Chris would come into the golf ball, we would jump up and very quickly extend the hips here. The hips start thrusting forward. So if I put this silhouette effect over Chris's body here on the right hand side, and just notice from his setup position to his impact, just notice how much this changes here. So you can see setup here where it's quite sat back, to impact where it's a lot taller. Also just notice the handle of the golf club and how much it raises. So from setup to impact, the handle of the golf club raises quite significantly. That way the club will come in at very different angles and will cause massive amounts of inconsistent strikes. So that was something we've worked on today, and I'll show you how we've changed that and how much better it is at the end of today's lesson. The other thing we noticed on this side here, on this left hand side, is that even though a lot of the fundamentals, the grip and everything else was good, we were standing a little bit narrow, and we had quite a bit of weight on this straight right leg position. So what would happen, the left leg was almost tilting back towards the body, and a lot of weight was on that right hand leg. So we got to work and we started changing a few features and started changing a few things. The first thing that we looked at addressing was this setup position. So we see here now, we're nowhere near as leant back onto our right foot. We're a lot more neutral in our setup position, and therefore we're going to be a lot more balanced and be able to swing a lot easier from that position. Then what we did massive amounts of work on was improving the setup position. So again, this is before on this left hand side. I'll just show you this in a second when I was going to pull this swing up. So this was before on the left hand side here, and what we saw, we were very sat down at setup, far too much knee bend and real squat into the setup position. When we came into the shot, we'd actually almost stand up as such. So what we did, we tried to make the setup a little bit more stood up originally. So we reduced the knee flex, we got in a much more athletic position and not as squatted when we set up. That way when we're coming to hit the golf ball, we're not needing the urge to jump up in the air quite as significantly, and we were hitting much greater golf shots. The consistency instantly improved. Then what we talked about is trying to keep the hips back. So if we look at setup here, we've got a position where we're actually in a very good strong setup position, and we've just got the box just behind him there, just on his bum at the moment. And the idea was at impact not to let the hips come off the box too much. So we started that initially, and we got a lot better at that. So a nice tall setup, and we didn't want to come off that box as we came in to hit the shot. And this was the best one. We're just keeping that, so almost squatting as we come into the shot. And then the final product was this one here on this right hand side of the moment. This was the final product, and it was absolutely superb. The change was incredible. I'll show you from before and after in a minute. So we've got now much stronger setup position, and as we come into it, the feeling was we were going to almost squat into it. And look at the impact position now. Look how little change there is. The hips come ever so slightly forward and the hands ever so slightly raise up. So if we compare that after to before positions, this was before on the left hand side, now we see a massive improvement. Watch this on this left hand side. This was before, where the handle really raised. Oops, it's just jumped there. Where the handle massively raised as we came in to hit it. The hips would come forward and we'd have to jump up to find impact. So if we look at this before, setup was far too squatted, and a jump up impact lifting the handle up, insignificant, really inconsistent strikes and lack of power. We're here now on the right hand side, we're a lot taller in the setup position anyway, so when we come into the shot, we don't have to jump up anywhere near as hard, and the handle just naturally raises anyway because of the force of the golf club. But we were just striking the ball, honestly, tons better, so much more out the middle. And that's the kind of way we're going to look at progressing the golf swing into over the winter months, get the golf swing into a position where it's going to produce much more consistent golf shots, therefore reach the goal of breaking into category 1 for next year. Chris, well done today. Great session. Thanks very much for watching on Facebook Twitter and YouTube. Do check out my channel. You can subscribe to the channel as well. And thanks again, Chris, for travelling all the way down to Manchester to come and see me today. And guys, if you ever are struggling with your game, please do check me out. You can check out my website down below. We can work on your swing to get you improved for next year.